Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at 10 Wii games that deserve a remake.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be showcasing games from Nintendo's beloved motion console that we'd love to see remade. Which game would you like to see return the most? Sound off in the comments below. Metroid Prime Trilogy. Admittedly, this pick is both obvious and a bit of a cop-out considering the first two Metroid Prime games launched on the GameCube, but we can't help but believe that this bundle for the Wii would do wonders should it be remade for the Switch. The Joy-Cons would bring enhanced motion capabilities, though Nintendo would likely make them optional. An HD refresh could let players fully appreciate the unique environment and enemy designs the series offers. Plus, Metroid is at an all-time high in terms of popularity. As of writing, Dread is quickly on its way to becoming the best-selling game in the franchise. There's never been a better time to make this happen. Wario Land Shake It. Yeah. We love that WarioWare has been brought to Switch, but that doesn't mean we wouldn't jump at the chance to play the greedy character's other series. Wario Land Shake It was the last platformer Wario starred in, which is a real shame considering how much fun it is. The motion capabilities were creative, yet simple, used in tandem for attacking enemies and traversing levels. They were easy for new or younger players to pick up, but still delightful to platforming pros. Reworking the controls for Switch wouldn't be too difficult a task. Additionally, the hand-drawn art style is stunning and would be even more gorgeous in HD. If we were as greedy as Wario, we'd also love to see some new levels. Dead Space Extraction. The Wii's motion controls led to some great rail shooter spin-offs of popular horror franchises, but the one that we'd like to see remade the most is Dead Space Extraction. As a prequel to the first game, Extraction follows the events that led to the necromorph outbreak in Dead Space. The biggest benefit of a remake for players would be improved graphics, which would only make the game scarier. But we're also thinking of the big picture here. Extraction sold pretty poorly due to a lack of marketing and the Wii's family-friendly image. But pretty much everything that comes to Switch sells well. A remake could give it a second life. And if that success led to a port of the trilogy, we'd be all the happier. The Last Story.
I spoke to the General about you. He told me all kinds of things. He told me how worried you've been about me, and how hard you're working to become a true knight.
This wonderful action RPG comes from the creator of Final Fantasy, and deserves to be experienced by more players. Set in a dying fantasy world, it follows a group of mercenaries as they're caught in the middle of a war between humans and monsters. While that may not sound that unique, the characters made the story soar. Plus, the gameplay is great for casual players, emphasizing action with some strategic elements since you can command the other party members. The Last Story was part of the same fan campaign that got Xenoblade Chronicles released outside of Japan. That game has already been re-released twice, gotten a sequel and a spin-off. It's a shame that this one is still locked to the Wii. Boom Blocks. Boombox came from Steven Spielberg's very brief venture into video game design, and it was honestly a blast. It has terrific physics, whether the level is tasking you with annihilating blocks or keeping them from falling. There was a surprising amount of variety to each puzzle, from the items you used to the types of blocks you were presented with. It made for an excellent party game, and even let you design and share your own puzzles online. Apart from improved motion controls, a remake could bring in new items, blocks, and levels. Maybe even include some levels and features from the sequel. It would be a great addition to the Switch's library for players of all skill levels to enjoy. Punch-Out! Sure, the Switch already has arms. As fun as that game is, it pales in comparison to the legacy of Punch-Out. The Wii entry was, unfortunately, the last game in the series to release. but it was a decently sized hit at the time, and the Switch's extreme success would only bring in more players. While no appendages stretch past their limit, Punch-Out has fighters pretty iconic to the initiated, like Piston Hondo, Soda Popinski, and Bald Bull. The improvement of the Joy-Cons over Wiimotes would only make each landing blow more satisfying. Toss in some Nintendo fighters to join the original's Donkey Kong, maybe synergize with ARMS for some new content, and include the WiiWare-only prequel, and fans would come running. Or at least I would.
Keep 'em up! I telegraph that.
Tatsunoko vs. Capcom Ultimate All-Stars. Capcom's Versus series has given us some of the best fighters of all time, and while we'd sign any petition to get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 re-released, we'd also love to see the return of this Wii-only entry. While many of us in the West were unfamiliar with Tatsunoko characters, that didn't stop them from kicking all kinds of ass. However, it was also great to see some of Capcom's more obscure characters, like Batsu from Rival Schools and Soki from Onimusha. We'd expect a remake to improve controls and graphics, but additional characters from Capcom's massive roster would be more than welcome. Plus, the Switch could always use more 2D fighters. Silent Hill: Shattered Memories. Who knows when we'll get another mainline Silent Hill, but we've got a feeling it won't be coming to Switch. So instead, why not remake the entry that worked wonders with the Wii's limited hardware? Shattered Memories had the same setup as the first game, yet went in new directions with its plot and characters. It jumped between two settings. One had protagonist Harry answering his therapist's questions, with your answers impacting events in Silent Hill, including what monsters you faced and what areas you had access to. Its graphics were pretty impressive for the Wii, and the sound design added to the intense, spooky atmosphere. A remake could improve on these as well as some shortcomings while giving starved fans something they may have missed the first time around. MadWorld. There were a few Wii games that threw a monkey wrench into the console's family-friendly reputation, but none of them were as blood-soaked and depraved as MadWorld. Set during a live TV competition called Death Watch, players control Jack, a man with a prosthetic chainsaw arm who murders as much as he can for a boatload of cash. Reminiscent of Sin City, the violence is hyper-stylized, and players can use pieces of the environment for ferocious executions. Fountains of Blood had us laughing giddily, but so too did the hilarious commentators voiced by Whose Line's Greg Proops and Futurama's John DiMaggio. A remake wouldn't need to change that much, just update the tremendous art style to HD, but we'd also happily accept new weapons, levels, and boss fights. Super Mario Galaxy 2. Like many of you, we were scratching our heads at the exclusion of this adventure in Super Mario 3D All-Stars. With better level design and the addition of Yoshi, it made improvements on the near-perfect original. And since Galaxy has already been remastered, albeit only slightly, there's really no reason why its sequel shouldn't come to Switch. We know it would sell well, anything with Mario in it does. What would really make it stand out among the other Mario ports is a new mode, similar to Bowser's Fury. But honestly, this game is so spectacular that we'd be happy just to have it on the go and with a freshened up presentation. Mario brings joy to every player, so it's time for one of his best games to return.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.